And he was mentioning the point that it is very difficult for him alone to take care of all the disciples. But he was encouraging that the senior devotees now should take responsibility of taking care of the new devotees. And incidentally, that is the last disciple gathering Guru Maharaj did in South Africa. So, and that was the last instruction also. Because when a spiritual master is there on the planet, there is some kind of power, there is some kind of strength which naturally supports our sadhana. But when a spiritual master leaves the planet, there are challenges. Individually, collectively, we all face that challenge. So, it is more responsible service to take up that communication, take up that cooperation in his absence. Like I often think, like I have a sister, elder sister, and when she was at home, she was carefree, like throwing clothes here and there and just living as she wants. But now when I go to her place, because now she is married with a daughter, now I see her place is first class, everything is arranged and things, and I myself feel wonder that, are you doing all this? She became so responsible. And she tells me only one thing. She tells that now if I do something wrong, then what they will think about our parents. That did our parents raise us like this? So she has this thinking. So when she told that, it really inspired me, because when Guru Maharaj was around, we were carefree. Okay, Guru Maharaj is there, he will handle, even though we will have problems, we can just call him, we can tell him our challenges. But now in his absence, people will see that how we are doing. And first impression they will have is, okay, this is how Bhakti Charu Maharaj trained his disciples. If we do good, if we do bad, everything will reflect on Guru Maharaj. So it's a very responsible task. And also, maybe initially we may have gone through rigorous training in our Krishna consciousness. But at this point, we all need that love. Like I remember in Drakensberg, during the retreat time, there was one particular Mataji who was asking many challenging questions to Guru Maharaj. Like for an example, in class Guru Maharaj told one statement that wife is the property of husband. And she became so upset on this. And she challenged Guru Maharaj that how can you call wife to be a property? Is she a cow or a table that you are calling it a property? She became very upset. And Guru Maharaj was tolerating, and he was so patient answering her questions. So I was feeling little bit surprised, because situations like this, Guru Maharaj would also become heavy. But Guru Maharaj was very patient with her. And she was asking this type of questions throughout the retreat. And then one day I found that she was taking food in the restaurant, not with the devotees, in that retreat center. So I was surprised, and that was in my mind. So during the dinner time, Guru Maharaj was taking dinner, and I just told Guru Maharaj that, Guru Maharaj, that Mataji, just I said only this much, that Mataji, and I didn't finish my question. And Guru Maharaj said, yes, I know. And he said, actually she is disciple of Tamal Krishna Maharaj. And she got initiated when she was very young. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj left that was 2017, so 15 years before that. And you don't know how it feels when a spiritual master is not there. So she just needs love. So when Guru Maharaj told those words, I could not understand the gravity of it, but now we understand that pain of being away from the spiritual master, losing one spiritual master's physical association, it comes out in different ways. We don't realize that this is the same pain, but it comes out in different ways. Some devotees have health crisis, some devotees have relationship crisis, some devotees spiritual crisis, but that is the pain they are undergoing due to the losing of one spiritual master. So we all need that love, and we have to give that love to each other. Guru Maharaj especially loved South Africa. You all know that. I got a glimpse of it. I mean, from childhood I am seeing that, but I got another glimpse of it when we were traveling from Malaysia to South Africa, to Cape Town, and we checked in our luggage and we did everything, and we were waiting at lounge for boarding. And the announcement was made that our gate is changed, but we never heard it. So Guru Maharaj asked me that why they are not boarding. So go and check. So when I went to check, I realized that Guru Maharaj, the gate has been changed, and it was another terminal. So we have to take a train and go to another terminal at the airport in Malaysia. So Guru Maharaj ran, practically he was running, and I was also running behind him, taking all the luggage. And somehow we managed to board we were the last ones to board the plane. And then Guru Maharaj said, when you grow from 40 to 50, you don't realize that much. But when you grow after 70, each year, you realize how you are growing old. So it was difficult, and Guru Maharaj was having shingles that time, so it was very painful. Even his clothes were touching his body, it was paining. But then he was running in that condition. So Guru Maharaj said, but I could not afford to miss this flight because South African devotees are waiting for me. So he made that statement, and I realized how much he's looking forward to go to South Africa. Actually, he wrote this email to Bhakti Maharaj. I'll just read it from that lounge when we were waiting. Thank you very much for your email. I got shingles. It is not that serious but extremely painful. I was not hospitalized, but doctor suggested that I take complete rest for a few weeks. I complied. However, after 3 days of lying in bed and sitting around doing nothing, I got so bored that I decided to follow my schedule. I went to Ujjain from Calcutta for a day and then left for Singapore and Malaysia. Today I am on my way to Cape Town, South Africa. And then Guru Maharaj made this final thing. He said, I am still alive, and wherever I go, devotees seem to be happy to see me. So that was the thing. So now I'll go straight to March 2020. We were in Tirupati, and Guru Maharaj was giving classes in the GBC college. And while he was giving these classes in GBC college, there were already discussions about COVID, that how COVID is spreading and it's deadly disease, and soon there can be lockdown situation. So Guru Maharaj told that devotees should also be safe. Our 3 devotees were doing that course that time. Guru Maharaj asked them to go back to Ujjain. And then Guru Maharaj himself was supposed to go to Surat after that. So from Tirupati we came to Mumbai. And in Mumbai we asked Guru Maharaj that, Guru Maharaj, are we going to Ujjain back? Because Guru Maharaj sent those devotees from Tirupati to Ujjain. And here he was traveling. So he said, no, we can travel. It's okay. So then we were worried what to do, because if there is lockdown, Guru Maharaj will be stuck somewhere. And Ujjain is more comfortable for him because he has his own apartment and then temple. But what if he is stuck in some place where he has to be confined in one room? So then we phoned devotees at Surat that, Guru Maharaj is coming. Then they were so excited. Yes, we know Guru Maharaj is coming, and we arranged this and we arranged that. And we requested him, said, you call Guru Maharaj and tell that Guru Maharaj don't come. Surat devotees, no, we are not going to do that. Guru Maharaj comes once in a year, and how can we lose that opportunity? Then we practically begged them that please, it's for Guru Maharaj's health. Call Guru Maharaj and tell Guru Maharaj, everything is closed here, devotees cannot come, they cannot gather, so please we can postpone your visit. So finally, after a lot of requests, they agreed. They called Guru Maharaj. And Guru Maharaj was saying, no, I'll come, I'll be at home. You can come in batches and meet me. You know how Guru Maharaj, he has solution for everything. But then the devotees requested, no Guru Maharaj, please, we can postpone it. It will be nice if you are in Ujjain. So finally he agreed, and then we changed our tickets So from Mumbai we came to Ujjain on 22nd of March. And 23rd of March, the Prime Minister of country declared lockdown. So if Guru Maharaj went to Surat, he would be stuck in one home. But just one day before he came to Ujjain. And then the lockdown situation was there. But in Ujjain, Guru Maharaj was very relaxed. He knew Guru Maharaj loved Ujjain because it's his pet project. For some days he would be away, and like one time we were traveling from Chennai and he was in flight. Guru Maharaj went to see Jayapataka Maharaj after his surgery and we were in flight. So Guru Maharaj was mentioning, this is the first time Jayapataka Maharaj is away from Mayapur for so long. And I can understand how he must be feeling because I feel bad when I am away from Ujjain. So he was mentioning that. So we reached Ujjain, and in Ujjain Guru Maharaj was very relaxed. He used to give a lot of classes. Like he used to give in morning Bengali class, then during the day he used to give a Hindi class, then in evening he would give an English class, and then he would give classes to different groups, like Australian devotees, South African devotees on Zoom, Kuwait devotees, Singapore, Malaysia. He would give different places, he would give these classes. Some days he would give even 6 classes in a day. And Guru Maharaj was mentioning that I became more busy being in this room than I was, when I was traveling. But then when Guru Maharaj is in room, he can't be in room. So he has to do something. So initially few days, he was doing different things in temple. Like he got 1000 mogra plants. And he said, let's plant them. And then Guru Maharaj on his knees, he was like, plant here, plant there. So he got this mogra plants done. Then he said that gamla, pots of flowers, they are old. So now let's paint them. Now how to get paint in this lockdown situation? You don't get shops. You say, no, somehow you bring it. So then devotees smuggled practically one box, different box, and they brought, and then all devotees are painting it. Then Guru Maharaj said, our Goshala is very, it's very dirty in rainy season. It becomes muddy. So let's plant grass here. So then Guru Maharaj got all devotees to plant grass there. So he was doing all these things, just passing his time, adjusting different things in temple. But now everything is over, what to do? Then Guru Maharaj was becoming so restless. The Guru Maharaj said, I have to go somewhere. You take me somewhere. I can't stay in one room. So then in night, we would take Guru Maharaj, taking special permission from police. And in night we would take, after everybody sleeps, like 10 o'clock, we'd take him in car around Ujjain, different places. And then we would stop somewhere, Guru Maharaj would walk a little bit and then come back to temple. He was so restless, he could not stay in room. He would get up like 2 o'clock in morning and would chant his rounds walking in the temple campus, and 4:30 he finished his chanting. So now full day he had. Now what to do? So he was meeting different devotees. Every department he visited during lockdown. He visited the clinic, he visited our sweet shop, gift shop, everything. He went to apartment devotees, he met with all apartment devotees. And then one boy, son of Rup Gaur Prabhu, is very small kid. So Guru Maharaj asked him, so how are you? He said, I am not good, Guru Maharaj. Small boy. He said, why? Guru Maharaj, you never came to our house. So Guru Maharaj said, let's go now. And the parents don't know that the boy invited Guru Maharaj. So now Guru Maharaj went to his house, the apartment. He lives in 202, second floor, Gaurang Bhavan. So he went there and rang the bell. The mother opens the door and see Guru Maharaj standing at the door. So Guru Maharaj just came and just sat there, and Guru Maharaj spoke to the family and said, now you are happy? Yes, Guru Maharaj, I am happy. Then next door is Chandramukhi Mataji. He said, Guru Maharaj, you never came to my house. So Guru Maharaj, from that house he entered Chandramukhi Mataji's house. So like that he was just fulfilling everyone's desire. He went to kitchen department, he met all the staff there, and there some devotees were cooking some karela and things. Guru Maharaj asked their health and things. So everywhere he was visiting. He went to the offices. So each office he visited. And he was seeing, okay, whose office is this? What does this department do? How many employees you have? How many devotees you have? In detail. And he was giving his ideas. Like when he went to our department, we have department, Serve Krishna Yourself, Sky. So then Guru Maharaj came, Guru Maharaj saw, and Guru Maharaj was so happy. Oh, you have your own office. I said, no Guru Maharaj, we 3-4 devotees we sit here. The Guru Maharaj said, yeah, for fundraising, there is a formula. He said, fundraising before fundraising. So you make relationships and you will automatically get funds. So he was giving all these different ideas and inspirations wherever he went. Then one day, he gave a lecture to apartment devotees. And we were walking back to his quarters. And when we were walking back to his quarters, Guru Maharaj said, did you record my lecture? And I was silent because we didn't record his lecture. Guru Maharaj said, don't take me casually. When I am speaking, you should always record. So that was one very important thing. Then we went back. Then Guru Maharaj on his own, he said, but actually I should also improve my presentation. So when I give lecture, you should note down where I am making mistakes. And after lecture, you tell me how can I improve in my lecture. So I felt so guilty. I said, Guru Maharaj, Jayadeva Swami Maharaj, Ravindra Sarup Prabhu, Gopal Bhattu Prabhu, they asked me recordings of your lectures. They hear your lectures. There is no point in finding out mistakes in your lecture. You will say, no, I know I need to improve my presentation. So you note, and especially when I speak in Hindi, you should note down. Because once Guru Maharaj asked me in South Africa, in Durban only, he asked me, how is my Hindi? So I was silent. And then Guru Maharaj didn't tell anything. It was at Himanga Prabhu's house. Guru Maharaj didn't tell anything. When we went back, Guru Maharaj was in Calcutta and Radhapat Prabhu came to receive Guru Maharaj. And Guru Maharaj was telling him, Radhapat, I asked him, how is my Hindi? And he was silent. That means I really need to improve my Hindi. So Guru Maharaj was telling that, you write down what mistakes I make and you improve. Then Guru Maharaj also went to altar. Generally when Guru Maharaj would come to Ujjain, he was not having time to go to altar. But this time, he would go to altar and see the dressing of Radha Madan Mohan. Like there was also Chandan Yatra time. So he would go and he would apply Chandan to the deities. It was very personal because I never saw Guru Maharaj doing all these services. Because he was so busy, he would come, he would give lectures, do meetings and go away. But now he had time. And I was doing all these adjustments. So he saw that garlands were not possible in lockdown situation because we were not having flowers from market. So Guru Maharaj said, Lord is not looking nice without garlands. Garlands are the main decoration for Lord. So then he encouraged our dress department to make garlands of silk cloth. And they were looking exactly like the original garlands. So we have those photos. If you see those photos from lockdown, you will see that all deities are wearing garlands. But they are not real flower garlands. They are silk cloth garlands. So Guru Maharaj developed that idea also. Then in night he would go on round his chanting. So Guru Maharaj said that we should do something for the world. And best thing we can do is Harinam Sankirtan. So Guru Maharaj started 24-hour Kirtan in temple for all those 2 months. So continuously we were doing this 24-hour Kirtan. So one day Guru Maharaj went and he was chanting at 2 o'clock and he saw that only one devotee is singing in the temple. So Guru Maharaj was not happy with that. Guru Maharaj went and sat with that devotee and sang for 1 hour. And this devotee was so simple devotee, never went close to Guru Maharaj. And here now Guru Maharaj is sitting with him. He was leading and Guru Maharaj was repeating. So it was very embarrassing situation. But then at the end of it, when the next team came, Guru Maharaj asked him, so who was your partner? So he told the name. He said, tell him that I replaced his service. So he should come and meet me. So now this devotee got the news that he blocked the service and his service was covered by Guru Maharaj. So he went and he met Guru Maharaj. Then Guru Maharaj called Bhakti Prem Maharaj. That Maharaj, I want to give him some punishment. What punishment should I give? So then Maharaj said, Guru Maharaj, maybe he can lead Kirtan for 2 hours. Guru Maharaj said, Maharaj, you are too soft. I want to give him punishment, so it's not that he is leading for 1 hour, now he can lead for 2 hours. So Guru Maharaj said, you are going to clean the toilets for whole ashram because you missed the Sankirtan slot. You so strict. in that. And he wanted to establish a standard also, that when service is assigned, you should be there on time. So he was doing all these wonderful dealings with devotees. One project Guru Maharaj was working during that time was, he wanted to compile another book on Prabhupada's position, which is very easy to understand for people. Guru Maharaj said that the book he inspired Ravindra Swarup Prabhu to write, that book is very scholarly. So it's good for scholarly devotees. But when it comes to like general devotees or new devotees, it's very difficult to understand and digest. So Guru Maharaj wanted to compile a book with lot of paintings and lot of sketches and very simple, like we say, layman's language to establish Srila Prabhupada's position. So he selected two GBC members, Madhu Sevita Prabhu and Bhakti Vaibhav Maharaj. And they were working together for quite a good amount of time every day to complete that document on Srila Prabhupada. And Guru Maharaj also engaged one devotee, Dhiri Lalita Mataji, and Guru Maharaj would speak to her for long hours, giving her dictations because she had to draw the sketches. So Guru Maharaj was guiding her. And at one point, Guru Maharaj decided that, okay, book is one thing, but we should also launch a video, so that in video we can explain Prabhupada's position. So he very much wanted to establish Prabhupada's position. So during that time, he called us one day. He said, call the management. So we called the presidents, then Bhakti Prem Maharaj, our PR, Raga Pandit Prabhu, we all were sitting together, and like 6 of us. And then Guru Maharaj said, you know one thing, I am thinking about something serious. He said, I want to renounce my pranam mantra. Because devotees come to temple being attracted by Srila Prabhupada's books, or Prabhupada's devotees, or Prabhupada's temples. And when they come and join ISKCON, they start chanting Prabhupada's pranam mantra. And after some time, then Guru comes in picture. And then Guru overpowers so much that devotees chant Guru's pranam mantra and forget Prabhupada's pranam mantra. So I don't want this to happen with my disciples. So I want to renounce my pranam mantra. What do you all think? So we have left wing and right wing. You know. So some devotees, whatever Guru Maharaj said is right. So yes, Guru Maharaj, you are saying right and this and that. But some devotees, they objected. They said, Guru Maharaj, actually when we go through you, we become more strongly connected to Srila Prabhupada. And in deity worship, you require Guru's pranam mantra and so many places. Guru Maharaj said, so what? In deity worship, you can chant Om Agyan Timirandasya. That's the universal pranam mantra for all Gurus. But what is the use of my pranam mantra? And he said, that too, 2 stanzas. Gaur Keshadas Babaji Maharaj has 1 stanza, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has 1 stanza, and I have 2. Am I bigger than them? So I should renounce my pranam mantra. Then when we all were not agreeing, then Guru Maharaj said, okay, I'll think about it. So he didn't give an ultimatum to it, but he was into that direction. And he said, when you go to temple, what you chant first? And he was asking all of us. So he said, Guru Maharaj, we chant Guru's pranam mantra and then Prabhupada's and then the deities. He said, wrong. You should first chant Prabhupada's pranam mantra. Then if you have time, you can chant my pranam mantra, but it's not compulsory. So he was so much into that. And he could not complete this project, but Bhakti Vaibhav Maharaj and Madhu Sevita Prabhu is still working on it. So let's see in future if that document comes out, which Guru Maharaj was working on, so that everybody can understand Srila Prabhupada's position more prominently. Now it is so obvious for us that yes, Prabhupada is in the center, but Guru Maharaj worked 40 good years to establish this. And this was his biggest contribution to ISKCON, one of the biggest contributions. Otherwise, Prabhupada's position would not be so obvious as we are looking now. So that was one of the projects he was working. Guru Maharaj was also asked by pujaris that Guru Maharaj, now is the lockdown situation, the funds are low, so should we reduce the items offering to Lord? And Guru Maharaj became very upset. He said, never do that. You don't eat, but Lord's standard should never be reduced. So he maintained the same standard. And that night when we gave Guru Maharaj milk, so Guru Maharaj said, from where you got this milk? He said, Guru Maharaj, you got from the Goshala, our own temple Goshala. So So Guru Maharaj said that from where deities are getting their milk, because nobody was coming from outside, so we could not source milk from outside. Guru Maharaj, from the Goshala. Said, how many cows are giving milk? You know Guru Maharaj, his calculation, he'll build up. Like, how many cows are giving milk? He'll tell Guru Maharaj, 6 cows are giving milk. So how many liters they give? So then Guru Maharaj calculated, so this is not enough for the deities. So why are you keeping milk for me? So from today I'll not take milk. So tell Guru Maharaj, no, it is manageable. They said, no, I don't want milk. So from that day Guru Maharaj stopped taking milk. Because Guru Maharaj would take milk without sugar, and for deities they would put sugar and offer. So we can't give that milk to Guru Maharaj. But Guru Maharaj stopped completely taking milk after that, because deities should get proper attention. Then there was another wonderful ritual we were performing that time, because Guru Maharaj planted these mogra plants. We were getting a lot of mogra flowers, and Guru Maharaj loved mogra. But these mogra flowers would come in India during the summer, and Guru Maharaj would not stay in India for summer. He would go out every year. So this was the first time he was staying in May and June in India, like during summer time, and that too in Ujjain. So devotees got this mogra flowers, and they would make a nice garland for Guru Maharaj. And every day, new brahmachari, one devotee would go to Guru Maharaj and garland Guru Maharaj. And then Guru Maharaj would talk to him, like how you are doing and what and that. And Guru Maharaj thought that's nice thing to meet devotees. So he said, okay, every day I'll meet 5 brahmacharis. So he would call 5 brahmacharis and meet them. And these devotees, like some of them are serving from 20, 25 years, 30 years. They didn't get opportunity to see Guru Maharaj this closely and intimately. But now they were sitting, and because Guru Maharaj would give time to householders, but brahmacharis are his men. So he took them for granted. But this time he was giving them time. He was asking their family, about their health, their services, how many temples they have changed and things like that, very closely, very intimately. And then one of the devotee came to know that Guru Maharaj is planning to go to US. So he took lot of brahmacharis with him on his slot the day he went to garland Guru Maharaj. So he took a lot of Atmaram Prabhu, his name, Brahmachari Atmaram. So he took a lot of devotees, and they requested, Guru Maharaj, why are you going to US? Please don't go. You are staying here, we all are so happy, we hardly get time with you, and it's so risky outside, we are getting so many news. Guru Maharaj said, call Krishna Keshwar. I came. And Guru Maharaj is not chastising them, Guru Maharaj is chastising me. You have not told them what is happening in America, how much our devotees are preaching. Because you have not told them, they are coming to request me. So now go down, put on a projector and show them how in D-Land we are doing food distribution and all these appreciation letters we are getting from different police authorities, hospitals and different government officials. You show them. And that's how they should understand that I am not going for a trip, I am going there for preaching. So Guru Maharaj was so fixed on his decision. One day he was talking to devotees in D-Land, and he said, if I would have wings, I would have flied and came to America. He was so excited to go. And every day at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, he made a rule. He would call me, and Guru Maharaj would take him fruits, and he would ask me, okay, read some news, what's happening in the world. So I would read some random news here and there, some things. And then Guru Maharaj would tell that, okay, check how many patients of COVID in the world. So I would check how many new patients. Then he would check how many in US, how many on ventilator. Every day he would ask this statistics. So he would tell. Now as these services were going, there were many instances which were very striking after Guru Maharaj left. Like one of them is, one day Guru Maharaj took his dinner, and Bhakti Prem Maharaj was taking dinner with Guru Maharaj. So after taking dinner, Guru Maharaj was hearing Chaitanya Charitamrita as he would hear every meal. So this particular day, Bhakti Prem Maharaj had to lead Kirtan in the temple. So he went ahead and went to participate in the Kirtan. And Guru Maharaj kept sitting there. So I was reading, till the time Guru Maharaj is sitting, I was reading. It was a long chapter. Guru Maharaj just sat there, maybe for about 45 minutes. I finished the chapter. And then I asked Guru Maharaj, should I start the next chapter? He said no. But Guru Maharaj kept sitting there. So I was also sitting, it was silence. And then after a few seconds, Guru Maharaj said, soul is so powerful. On his own, he is saying. Soul is so powerful that it can cure any disease. You don't need any medicine. Soul can cure any disease. But when soul is tired of a body, soul leaves that body. And saying that, Guru Maharaj got up and went to use the washroom. So that time I just thought maybe in my reading something has come like that and Guru Maharaj is mentioning. But afterwards now I think what a profound realization Guru Maharaj is speaking at that time. Another thing, one day Guru Maharaj came to his balcony in his quarters facing the gardens, temple gardens. So he came there and we were drying different clothes on the railing. And Guru Maharaj saw and asked, why these clothes are here? And I was justifying that Guru Maharaj, this sunlight comes and then the dries quicker and this. And Guru Maharaj was upset. He said, there has to have some reason for it, but who wants to listen it? And then he said, this is how you keep place of your spiritual master? He never spoke like this. At least to me, he never spoke like this. But he said, this is how you keep your spiritual master's place? If I will go, this is how I will keep my apartments? And then I was just, I was stunned by hearing that. And then Guru Maharaj went to his office and then we cleaned whole apartment like anything and we took out all those extra things and things. We were distributing it to devotees. Guru Maharaj also selected. Like he has so many winter wears, devotees gifted him. And Guru Maharaj was personally selecting. Okay, give this to Abhaycharan, he is small. Give this to Dhirgaur. This will suit on Vijayendra Krishna. This will suit on Maharaj. And he was selecting and he saw that label them nicely and gift it out. And there was only one shawl left. Guru Maharaj said, just keep one for me and just give everything away. So he just emptied all of his cupboard. We distributed it to all devotees. And then I was so excited to distribute things that I went on distributing everything. So then after the thing in evening, Guru Maharaj asked me, there was a candle I got from Singapore. Where is it? Then I said, I'll just bring Guru Maharaj. I already gave it to somebody. So then I ran and I went, I gave it to Sumangal Madhapu. I said, went, and fortunately he didn't light it up. So I got it up and I was running back and I saw up Guru Maharaj standing in his office and he was watching me. And he was laughing. When I came back, Guru Maharaj said, from whom you snatched it back? I said, no, Guru Maharaj, he didn't use it. I said, Guru Maharaj lit it. Then Guru Maharaj said, in my office, I don't have any picture of Srila Prabhupada. So can you put a picture just behind me? I want a big picture of Srila Prabhupada. So we got few months back only, Shyamangi Mataji sent a big frame and we thought where we will use it, so I just sent it to our godown. So we brought it back and we put it back of Guru Maharaj. And Guru Maharaj said, now you don't have shops, but when you get opportunity, get a Nishingadev frame and put in front of me. So he also instructed those things. Now when Guru Maharaj is busy, we are busy. But when Guru Maharaj is free, we are more busy. Because then Guru Maharaj gets so many ideas and he is active throughout the day. So he was planning too many things. And honestly, I was not able to cope up with the pace. So one day Bhakti Prem Maharaj saw me and he was feeling bad for me. He was saying, you should go and take rest in guest house. So I said, no Maharaj, I am okay here. And now in this lockdown time, Guru Maharaj would hardly ring his bell. He would just come in our room. So while taking rest also, we would conscious that Guru Maharaj can come anytime. So how you are lying down and everything, So you're very conscious. So hardly we are taking rest. So Guru Maharaj said that, you go to guest house. And if Guru Maharaj will call, then we will go and we will handle and you go and you take rest. So that day I was really tired. So I accepted Maharaj's idea. I went to guest house and took rest. That day Guru Maharaj called and Bhakti Prem Maharaj went. And then Guru Maharaj asked for me and Bhakti Prem Maharaj told as it is to Guru Maharaj. That Guru Maharaj is very tired and I told him to take rest and this and that. And then Guru Maharaj said, oh, he never told me he's tired. He should take rest. And now when I came back, Guru Maharaj was not calling me at all. 3 days passed. He was not calling me at all. And I was going near Guru Maharaj, but Guru Maharaj was not giving me any task. And third day Guru Maharaj told me, I know you need some rest. You take some rest. So I was very puzzled. But incidentally, my misfortune, That day I got little fever. And when I got fever, that was, COVID. So when you get fever, it means you are untouchable now. So I thought, I am living in Guru Maharaj's quarters and I got fever. I should not be living here. So without telling Guru Maharaj, I left and I went to an apartment to live. And I informed Maharaj that, Maharaj, I got fever. I don't want to go close to Guru Maharaj. So please tell Guru Maharaj. But then Guru Maharaj thought that I am so tired that I left his service. And that was critical thing. So next day in Mangala Aarti, I was standing at the back because I don't want to come in the group of devotees, standing at back with my mask. So after Tulsi Aarti, so Guru Maharaj would circle the Tulsi and then he would go out of this door, next to Nrsingadev. But this day, he walked through the main door where I was standing. And he came right in front of me and said, are you retiring from your service? And I said, no, Guru Maharaj, I am not retiring. He said, never leave your service. And that was it. Then I was back in his quarters. He said, never leave your service. But that day, in evening, some devotees came to see Guru Maharaj. Just like five devotees used to come. So this batch came to see Guru Maharaj. And I was standing by the door. So Guru Maharaj started telling them, out of context, Guru Maharaj started telling them, you see, there were 3 devotees who served Srila Prabhupada very closely. One, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, second, Upendra Prabhu, and third was me. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Upendra Prabhu both left their bodies. Now only I am remaining. When he told that, I was feeling like, because I went away for few days, Guru Maharaj is trying to tell that how rare his association is. And we are not realizing it. And then Guru Maharaj said one time, Hare Krishna. Then Guru Maharaj said one time, I went to Yog Peeth. Guru Maharaj is telling this. I went to Yog Peeth to chant my rounds. And when I came back, Srila Prabhupada asked me, where were you? And I told Prabhupada I went to Yog Peeth. And then Prabhupada was so angry. Why did you go to Yog Peeth? And then Guru Maharaj said, I went there to chant my rounds. Prabhupada said, can't you chant your rounds in temple? Why you need to go to Yog Peeth? Then Guru Maharaj said, Guru Maharaj, Prabhupada, there is very peaceful environment there. And Prabhupada became more angry. Prabhupada said, did we come to Krishna consciousness to get peace? We came here to lose our peace for Krishna. And as he was telling, everything was hitting me because I took rest. And I was feeling so guilty that, why I need rest. And then Guru Maharaj said, if you really want to spread Krishna consciousness, you have to become broad-minded. And all these devotees were appreciating Guru Maharaj's instructions, but I was knowing why this all is coming. So later on I went to Guru Maharaj and I apologized. Guru Maharaj, sorry, I was just advised that I can take some rest and go there, but then I got this fever. And Guru Maharaj said, whatever it may be, never leave your service. So that was a very important instruction. The next day, Guru Maharaj got a video. And in that video, some person was suggesting that one way to handle COVID is you separate the youth from older ones. Because elderly people will get COVID and they can't recover. And then youth will get from them and youth can recover. So they should live separately. So Guru Maharaj watched that video and then rang his bell. So I went in. And Guru Maharaj said, I got a video, just watch it. So I watched it. And then Guru Maharaj looked at me and said, so what do you want? That means separate youth and elderly. So what do you want? You want to live separately? I said, no, Guru Maharaj. Because just one day before I got a heavy dose. So I am not going anywhere. One day Guru Maharaj was sitting in his office and he came by his window. He was looking down. And there were 3-4 devotees there, youngsters. Krishna Mukunda Prabhu, Rishwanand Prabhu and all. And Guru Maharaj called them. Just call them. So I ran down, I called them. They were the devotees who went to D-Land. And as their visa expired, they came back. So Guru Maharaj called them. We were sitting. We all were same age. We were classmates, 4 or 5 of us. So we all sat together. And then Guru Maharaj said, I feel bad that I took all of you. You are so educated. You are so talented. you are from such good families, and I took you all to D-land so that you can preach, but I made you work so hard there. You had to cut trees and you had to work so much, so please forgive me. Just telling like that. We have that recording Guru Maharaj is mentioning. And these devotees just broke down. They were saying, Guru Maharaj, no, actually we are the junior most devotees in the temple. And because you took us with you, we got so close association with you. Otherwise there was no chance for us to get close association with you. So it's the treasure of our life that you took us with you. And then Guru Maharaj said, yes, I also miss those days. We were together, we were doing things. All this, it was stressful, but we were enjoying it. So that was another wonderful experience. During these days, Guru Maharaj had his very special style of taking darshan. So generally when Guru Maharaj would stand in Mangala Aarti, he has his own place in front of Radha Madan Mohan, next to the lead singer. We all have seen this for so many years, the same position. But during this lockdown, what Guru Maharaj would do, he would stand by God Nitai. When altar would open, he would give his obeisances to all the altars. And then he would stand on the Jagannath's altar, as it's the last altar. He would stand very close, resting his arms on that marble railing. He would just stand there. And for 7-8 minutes, he would just take darshan of Jagannath from close. And then he would come to Krishna Balram, another 5-7 minutes. And then he would come to Radha Madan Mohan. And then he would come to Gaur Nitai. By the time Mangala Aarti would finish. And in Nrsingadev Aarti, he would stand just close to Nrsingadev. It was very unusual. But all those 2 months, Guru Maharaj took darshan of the deities with that close proximity. And then during Guru Puja, he saw that devotees are coming little late. Sometimes devotees who have Pujari service, they come late. And then they were taking darshan of the deities. So Guru Maharaj corrected them. Guru Maharaj said, when you have Prabhupada's Guru Puja, you should not even take darshan of the deities. You should all focus on Prabhupada. After Guru Puja, you can take darshan of the deities. But when you have Prabhupada's Guru Puja, you should never take darshan of the deities also. So he was having that. So one day, one local sannyasi came to meet Guru Maharaj. Not ISKCON sannyasi, but an outside sannyasi. So he came to see Guru Maharaj. He was a very prominent leader in Ujjain. He has some Gurukul, and his name is Bali Yogi, something like that. So he came. And Guru Maharaj met him. So at the end of it, Guru Maharaj said, serve him some prasad. So we brought some rasmalai for him. And then Guru Maharaj said, where he will keep his rasmalai. So we got a table for him. And then Guru Maharaj said, give him some water. So we brought a water for him. And in course of doing that, my hands were wet. Because, getting water and things, washing things and giving. Then he asked that, Maharaj, can you give your email address and phone number to me? So Guru Maharaj said, can you write on a paper and give? So I went. And with my wet hands, I got a paper. And so the portion of that paper got little wet. So I wrote Guru Maharaj's email address and number on the top. And I said, this is the wet part, who will care? So I folded it and I kept, and I folded in such a way that wet part is not visible. And then I went and Guru Maharaj said, so you wrote it? Yes. So I was handing it over to that sannyasi and I gave it in his hands. Guru Maharaj said, show me. So Guru Maharaj took back from his hands and he opened and he saw that wet side of the paper and said, what is this? When I tell you to do something, do it perfectly. Go back and rewrite and come. So then I went back, I rewrote and came. So that day, Guru Maharaj he chastised, not chastised, but, he corrected me like this. So after 1 hour, Guru Maharaj gave me one task, that you write an email for Food for Life distribution in Orlando, and I will send it to the prominent devotees who help me financially, so I will send it out. So he said, okay. So I was drafting it, and then Guru Maharaj came in. I don't know why Guru Maharaj came in, because he wanted to emotionally support me, or he wanted to make sure that I don't mess it up again. So he came and he sat on my chair. And I said, Guru Maharaj, I can bring laptop to your office. And he said, no, I'll help you. And he personally typed on this computer. And he typed and he said, I just wanted to make your work easy. So that was very personal interaction. Now during that time, I also got some problems from my family. Because the time was so critical, people are having this news that they are dying and families are not meeting. So my parents were so terrified. They were thinking that they will get COVID and they will never see me again. So they were pushing that I come back. And Guru Maharaj came to know about this. So one day, Guru Maharaj was going to take rest, and that day, actually Ratna Bhushan Prabhu would give massage every day to Guru Maharaj. So he was there, but Guru Maharaj told him, no, today he will give me massage, means I will give him massage. So I went in, I was giving massage to Guru Maharaj, and Guru Maharaj said, you know, Uddhav Gita is so nice, isn't it? I said, yes, Guru Maharaj. You remember that story of pigeons? When one pigeon gets stuck, other pigeon comes, and they also get stuck, and then finally all of them are stuck. You know how it's leading? So I said, yes, Guru Maharaj. You know, family life is like that. You know, you get stuck. Then I was silent. I was just massaging. I was not speaking anything. He said, Madhya Pradesh has been divided into different zones according to the number of COVID cases, like red zone, orange zone, and green zone. Green zone means least number of COVID cases. So which zone your hometown, Guna? My hometown is Guna. So which hometown Guna falls? So I said, Guru Maharaj is in green zone. We said, let's go then. We'll go together and meet your parents. So I said, yes, Guru Maharaj, I'll talk to Raghav Pandit Prabhu. When I told Raghav Pandit Prabhu, he said, no way. This is not happening. So that plan failed. But my parents were pushing a lot. They were pushing a lot. And I was kind of delaying it. But my father was so adamant. He got special permission from government for our car to come from my house and pick me up and take me home. So the car came, and the car was parked right in front of the temple. And that time, because there was lockdown, to see a car was a luxury. You know, you don't see car on road. So the car was there, and Guru Maharaj saw from his office. Guru Maharaj said, whose car is this? So then the devotees told Guru Maharaj, Krishna Kishore's parents sent the car to take him back. So then Guru Maharaj called me. So I went, I told Guru Maharaj asked, so this is, he said, yes, Guru Maharaj, my parents want me to go back. So Guru Maharaj was working on his table, and he stood up. And then Guru Maharaj embraced me. Actually, wherever I would go, Guru Maharaj would embrace devotees. But I would never get embraced because I was carrying his luggage with him. So there was no need of embrace because I would be going with him. So this was the first time he embraced me. And then Guru Maharaj told that offer your life to Krishna. And if you do that, at the end of your life, you will see Srila Prabhupada. So there was another devotee, Abhay Charan Prabhu. So Abhay Charan Prabhu told Guru Maharaj, we see Srila Prabhupada through you. Meaning that if we see you at the end of our life, that is sufficient. And Guru Maharaj said, no. Because you are serving closely to me, you are serving so closely, you would be seeing so many faults in me. But in Prabhupada, you will see no faults. So at the end of life, Prabhupada, you will see Prabhupada and Prabhupada will take you. So then it was a very heavy moment. And then Guru Maharaj lightened it up. He said, so go with your car, and in 2 weeks, if you don't come back, I'll send my car to pick you up. So that was it. So I left for my home. And those 2 weeks, Abhay Charan Prabhu was serving Guru Maharaj. And later on, Abhay Charan Prabhu shared with me that he always had this desire in his heart to serve Guru Maharaj as his secretary. Later on, he shared with me. And Guru Maharaj engaged him all in business work, making altars and shipping and this and that. So he was always having desire that I want to serve Guru Maharaj personally. But he never got that opportunity. And those 2 weeks when I was away, he got that service of serving Guru Maharaj. So Guru Maharaj actually satisfied all the devotees before he left. There was another devotee who also wanted to serve closely to Guru Maharaj, Prem Avatar Prabhu, who was working on Abhay Charan dubbing and all these services. So he wanted to go close to Guru Maharaj, but there was no opportunity. So this time, Guru Maharaj had to record different videos and all. When I was away, he was recording all these videos and all. And then Guru Maharaj gifted his own iPad to him. So all these things, like Guru Maharaj was fulfilling all desires of all devotees. So finally, after 2 weeks, I came back. And I was little nervous to go back to Guru Maharaj. So I went upstairs and Guru Maharaj's darshan hall. So I thought I'll just open a door little bit and I'll check if Guru Maharaj is there or not. And if he's not there, I'll quickly go in the secretary room and I'll change and do whatever things. So as I opened the door little bit and I just peeped in, Guru Maharaj was coming out of his bedroom. And he was so happy. He said, "Hey, you came back." It was like a friend welcoming another friend. It felt so love. He said, "Come, I'm recording an interview for a radio." So that was a Nirjala Ekadashi day, 2nd of June. So Guru Maharaj did a long interview recording, and then he went. Not only he met all the devotees in temple, but he also met all grihasthas. So in the 2 weeks I was away, he was calling one devotee family from congregation, his initiated disciples and well-wishers, and he met all of them during that time. Not a single one he left. And then on that day, on 2nd of June, Guru Maharaj said, "I want to go to Goshala." So we took Guru Maharaj to Goshala. And when Guru Maharaj would go to Goshala, we would give him some gourd and grass to feed cows. And what Guru Maharaj would do, he would feed the younger ones, the younger calves and cows, and then we would come back. This time, Guru Maharaj fed every single cow. Every single cow. From his own hands. It took like 1 good hour to feed each calf from his own hand. Because he was meeting them for the last time. And then 3rd of June, we left. So we left from Ujjain by car. And we got 2 cars, one Guru Maharaj's car and one backup car. So Bhakti Prem Maharaj was there and Krishnam Prabhu was driving the car and Guru Maharaj. So I thought, already Maharaj and Guru Maharaj are there, so I'll sit in the backup car. And there was ulterior motive also because I can sleep here. I can't sleep with Guru Maharaj. So I wanted to be comfortable there. So I sat in the back car. And Guru Maharaj came and he sat in his car and just maybe 2 seconds the car went. Guru Maharaj stopped the car and I understood what is happening. Guru Maharaj called, "Come here and sit." So I sat there. And throughout that journey, we left from Ujjain and we went to Nasik. Throughout that journey, maybe 12 hours, Guru Maharaj was giving most of his time, he gave dictations. He completed over 150 emails. And he said, "You just draft them and send it to me, I will check and send it out." Unfortunately, Guru Maharaj could not check them. But whatever pending emails were there, Guru Maharaj gave replies to them, dictated. So I was just typing them. So while going, we were passing one city. And Guru Maharaj was asking Bhakti Prem Maharaj how devotees are preaching here. And Bhakti Prem Maharaj told Guru Maharaj, "Here devotees preach, but they don't go to temple. They have their own sangha, they go in homes, but they don't go to temple. They are not connected to temple." When Guru Maharaj asked, "Whose disciples are they?" So Maharaj told that they are disciple of such and such. So then Guru Maharaj said, "Look, if you do something good, people will ask, whose disciples are they? And if you do something bad, it will reflect bad on me. So don't do anything which will become a blemish on me." He gave that instruction on that journey. So we went to Nasik, we stayed in Nasik. Next day Guru Maharaj met so many disciples. Guru Maharaj has so many disciples in Nasik. So he met all of them in Nasik. There was a power cut. So Guru Maharaj said, "You all pull up your phones and put on flashlight." So they were all putting flashlights on Guru Maharaj. So it was looking very exclusive sight to see Guru Maharaj like that. Guru Maharaj gave a nice address. Then next morning we left from Nasik to Mumbai and we came to Mumbai. Now we took rest. Next morning was Guru Maharaj's sannyas anniversary, Snan Yatra Day, Snan Purnima. So we celebrated that. And so there was one big room where Guru Maharaj was staying. There was another small room where Bhakti Prem Maharaj was staying. And then there was another room where 4 of us were staying. Me, Abhay Prabhu, Dev Krishna Prabhu and Krishna Prabhu, 4 of us. And when 4 devotees like that stay in a room, it's all messy. Our luggage was there, our towels were drying and all these things. So Guru Maharaj came in our room. And we were apologizing that Guru Maharaj, sorry, our room is like that. So don't worry. Then Guru Maharaj walked by our luggage and things and he went straight to the window. And from that window he was looking at one building. And I was just just standing back at the back of Guru Maharaj. And Guru Maharaj said, "This building at one time belonged to me. We had our Abhay studio there. And unfortunately, so many people cheated me. But I don't have any regret that they cheated me. Because whatever I have done, I've done for the service of Srila Prabhupada and no ulterior motive. And I am so happy that Krishna has sent some devotees to me who are helping me to serve him. So I am satisfied that I got those devotees." And that's it. He just spoke that. We don't know how to reply to Guru Maharaj when he spoke like that. So anyway, he spoke that. Then Guru Maharaj went, and then devotees made cakes for him, 2 cakes, because it's sannyas anniversary. So Guru Maharaj cut the cake, and Guru Maharaj is sharing pastime of how Prabhupada gave him sannyas. And then we all were having cake. So we were eating cake. Guru Maharaj was speaking to the family who were hosting us, Prem Manjari Mata's family. And then while while going to his room, I was taking my cake, I was eating, and I was sitting on a sofa. So Guru Maharaj came, and Guru Maharaj said, I am going to take some rest. So when he tells that, that means he needs some massage. That's an indication. So he went to his room, so I kept my cake, I washed my hands, and I went inside. And then Guru said, no, I don't want you to leave your cake. I was just informing you that I am going to take some rest. And I said, Guru Maharaj, I'll give you a massage, and then no, you have your cake. I was just letting you know that I am taking some rest. So he took some rest. Then evening he got up. We prepared for his departure. So I gave Guru Maharaj mask. Guru Maharaj, this is mask. I said, keep it in the bag. So he didn't put it on there. He kept it in the bag. I gave sanitizer, everything. And then Guru Maharaj asked, do you want to come with me? I said to Guru Maharaj, yes, I want to come with you. And Guru Maharaj said, actually now you cannot come because I am going on a rescue flight. So you join me later. I said, okay, Guru Maharaj. So then Guru Maharaj left for airport, and he told, you all don't come, it's very risky outside. So you stay here, and next morning you leave for Ujjain. And one local devotee, he will drop me to airport. So that devotee, now this is also interesting. That devotee was engaged with a girl, and he was scheduled to be married after 2 months. And he just requested Guru Maharaj that, Guru Maharaj, would you like to meet my fiancée? And Guru Maharaj agreed, yes, let's go there. So Guru Maharaj went there, and he met his fiancée, he met the family, preached to them, and then he went to airport. So he didn't leave any devotee's desire unfulfilled. He just fulfilled all the desires. And then he went to airport. So when he went, next morning we left, and we left for Ujjain, and we were driving, so it was long journey. By the time Guru Maharaj reached America. So we were just close to Indore, and that time Guru Maharaj called. And Guru Maharaj said, I am so happy to be here. There is no lockdown here. There is no restriction here. And nobody is wearing mask. And I am in Target, I am purchasing, I am doing shopping, I am very happy. And what to tell Guru Maharaj when he was telling like that. So anyway, we didn't tell anything. Then next day, Guru Maharaj called me, and he said, I received an email. There was one devotee who was Guru Maharaj's disciple, but he was making things too difficult for Guru Maharaj. He wrote to the GBC against Guru Maharaj's disciple. And he was producing different videos and this and that. And Guru Maharaj told that he wrote to me also. What should I do? Should I reply him back or should I neglect him? And I don't know what occurred in my mind. I just told Guru Maharaj, if you will neglect, where he will go? And when Guru Maharaj heard that, Guru Maharaj said yes. So just write to him that he can come and meet me in America. So that was one of the talks. Then after a few days when he reached Orlando, he became sick. So he told me that you inform devotees that I am not well. And I want to chant with them online because he was doing this online japa sessions. And I want to give them class. But I am not well. So maybe after a few days, I'll give class. So he was scheduled to give many online programs. He said cancel this, cancel that. But he didn't cancel one particular program. That was with the disciples of Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, Gitanagari. And that was the last lecture Guru Maharaj gave. And look at the title of that lecture. The title of lecture is Serving Spiritual Master in Separation. That's the last lecture Guru Maharaj gave. So he cancelled like more than a dozen programs, but he didn't cancel that one because he wanted to give us those instructions. Even like yesterday I was sharing, when he was selecting topic for his lockdown lectures, Bhakti Prem Maharaj suggested Guru Maharaj that Guru Maharaj we can have some pastimes. Guru Maharaj said no, I want to speak on Uddhav Gita. Then we told Guru Maharaj, you just gave Uddhav Gita on last retreat. Guru Maharaj said no, they are important because they are the last instruction of Krishna. So these all things like summing up after he left. Like we had some issues in Ujjain, like there was some trust where Guru Maharaj was the trustee, the director. And the other directors were also, either they left their body or left Krishna consciousness. So before leaving, Guru Maharaj changed the directors. He removed himself and he changed all directors. So he kind of set everything right. And then one day before leaving Ujjain only, Guru Maharaj asked me that, can you check travel insurance? Now Guru Maharaj never did insurance in his life. So I checked with his American Express card. So there were 3 packages. I think there was gold, silver, gold and platinum. So I proposed Guru Maharaj we can take silver one. Guru Maharaj said no, take the platinum one. So he took the most costliest insurance. And that insurance covered whole medical treatment of Guru Maharaj. Not a single dollar we paid from temple or anybody. So Guru Maharaj covered whole thing from that insurance. So anyway, he was in Ujjain, and then one day when he was very sick, I think it was 1 or 2 days before he went to hospital, he called me and he said, I have taken loan from Juhu, 20 lakh rupees loan. So repay it back. Because if I have to give money to somebody tomorrow, I would rather prefer to give it today. So just repay it back. That was the last instruction he gave. And then he called me from hospital to get that copy of insurance, which he did because he submitted it himself. So that was the discussion I did with him. So finally he went to hospital, and we know the news that how on the instruction of his godbrothers he accepted that ventilator and he was there. That one day the news also came that he opened his eyes, and we were celebrating that festival in Ujjain. We had a feast that day. The Guru Maharaj opened his eyes, and we were collecting all those different prayers that different devotees are doing all over the world, the photos, the offerings, we were collecting it, and Braj Kumari Mataji from Jobak, she was helping us to compile it into a book. We are thinking when Guru Maharaj will come, we'll show him how the whole world loves him. It never happened in the history of this world that somebody received so much attention. Never happened. And I don't think so it will happen again in this world. I was in Vrindavan like 6 months back, and one of our godbrothers, after I gave Bhagavatam class, he took me aside and he said, why Guru Maharaj left like this? Generally, sannyasis come to Vrindavan to leave his body, or Guru Maharaj himself was preaching that you have to see person by how he leaves his body. And then Guru Maharaj was all alone when he was leaving his body. How come? How do you understand this? And then we did some churning, and we discussed that how in Varapuran Lord says that if my devotee doesn't remember me due to some physical ailment at the end of his life, I remember him. Then second, Ramanujacharya went to Varadraj and he asked 5 instructions, and one of that Varadraj tells the same thing. If my devotee meets an accident, or if he is in coma or unconscious, he need not to remember me. I am there with him. And then secondly, we were writing emails to different senior devotees about what to do and how to handle the situation. And we received one email from Mayapur Gurukul, and the Maharaj there, he wrote to us and he told that actually when somebody takes sannyas, with sannyas his anteshti is already done. So whatever life he lives after that is just for Lord's service. So what you can do for your spiritual master? You should cry that you are not getting his association. Don't worry about him, worry about yourselves. So we were very worried, we are praying for Guru Maharaj. Actually we are not praying for Guru Maharaj. We have to pray for ourselves, that how we live without his association. Then another wonderful aspect, that Guru Maharaj when he went to hospital, he took with him Prabhupada's tape, and he would carry it all the time. He carried that to hospital also, and that was playing in hospital. He carried the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, that was with him. He carried Srimad Bhagavad Gita with him, that was with him. So at the end of his life, he was with Srila Prabhupada, and we should not have any doubt about it. And actually if we think about it, Guru Maharaj served Srila Prabhupada at a time when Srila Prabhupada wanted to go to West and preach. And Prabhupada made that statement that a warrior doesn't die in bed. Warrior dies in the battlefield. And Guru Maharaj absorbed that from Srila Prabhupada. Although devotees didn't allow Srila Prabhupada to do that, and Prabhupada came back to Vrindavan, But that principle Guru Maharaj established with his example. Like when Guru Maharaj got this COVID report, he asked Anish Prabhu, who is our youth forum devotee, who was serving Guru Maharaj that time. And he told Anish Prabhu that what if a Vaishnava leaves his body in America? Does that make any difference? He was silent. And then Guru Maharaj said, devotee has no preference. He surrendered unto Krishna. Whatever Krishna wants to do with a devotee, he will do. There's another clipping. Guru Maharaj was speaking in Ujjain. I'm sure you must have seen that. Guru Maharaj is not looking at camera. He is looking at the frame of Radha Madan Mohan in front of him. And he is telling that there will be time where we will be in hospital alone and devotees will not be around us. And that time we'll just depend on Krishna to take care of us. So he was exemplifying all this, that fighting on battle for Srila Prabhupada is far, far greater than dying in Vrindavan. And that's what he told before leaving Ujjain. He told that, did Prabhupada teach us to live in Vrindavan or Mayapur? That is not Prabhupada's mood. And Guru Maharaj exemplified like a soldier. He left his body there. Another wonderful realization came in our discussion in Vrindavan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells about 3 types of devotees. He tells, one who chants Krishna's name once, he is a devotee. One who chants Krishna's name all the time, he is a better devotee. And one who makes others chant Krishna's name, that is best devotee. And what Guru Maharaj did? By his final pastimes, he made whole world chant. And therefore he is the greatest Vaishnava. His departure is most glorious departure, because he made everybody chant. Can we really have this situation again in this world? Everybody sitting in their home, they can't go to work, they can't do anything, and whole focus is on Guru Maharaj. The world cannot get better opportunity like this. And not only ISKCON, Ritviks were praying for Guru Maharaj. They were having nourishing Abhishek for Guru Maharaj's recovery. Gaudiya Math Sannyasis were doing. Ramakrishna Mission were doing. Prominent temples in India like Badrikanath, Tirupati, Jagannath Puri, everywhere prayers were offered for Guru Maharaj. Who else can bind the world in one string like Guru Maharaj? Sutre Mani Ganaiva. He is the representative of Krishna. He bound whole world in one thread. So his departure is the most glorious departure on this planet, where he made everybody chant Krishna's name. And then one more realization, which we were discussing in Ujjain. Ujjain devotees were discussing that why Guru Maharaj didn't choose Ujjain to leave his body. That was a thing in Ujjain devotees' heart. And they were crying. They were saying that, look, Gopal Krishna Maharaj left his body. Devotees got to see him last darshan. But we didn't get last darshan of Guru Maharaj. But if you think about it, Guru Maharaj was so sensitive. Can he see all of us crying? Can he really see us all of crying? If we were a little bit troubled, Guru Maharaj would feel so much pain. So hearing news is one thing, but seeing Guru Maharaj leaving his body in front of our eyes, can we really tolerate it? And he was so sensitive to that. Jananivas Prabhu told that Prabhupada, when he left his body, for a second Guru Maharaj and Jayapataka Maharaj, Bhavanand Maharaj, they went to other room to discuss what we are going to do when Prabhupada will leave. And one Prabhupada disciple, Mataji, she got a dream after a few days Prabhupada left his body. And she asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, why did you leave like this when your servants were away? Then Prabhupada told that Mataji, my Bhakti Charu, my Bhavananda, they love me so much, how can I leave in front of him? So in the same way, Guru Maharaj knew how much his devotees love him. So he didn't take service from anybody in his last days. He didn't want to give that pain to anybody. And he left his body. So after he left his body, there were a lot of arrangements, and we were told that you can give samadhi to Guru Maharaj in America itself, or you can cremate and then bring ashes and give ashes samadhi, because Rupa and Sanatan were given ashes samadhi. We were told so many things, but we were not into that consciousness to take any decision. So we left up to GBC to make decision. So anyway, they took the decision, and so many devotees helped, and they coordinated with the US side, and they coordinated with the PM office in India, then the local chief minister in Bengal, Mamata Banerjee, and they coordinated everything, and finally it took 9 days for Guru Maharaj to come from Orlando to Mayapur. And when he came to Mayapur, so we were supposed to go from Ujjain, so we left the next day. And I was just thinking, should I go or not, because there's so many devotees, and Mayapur temple told only one car should come from Ujjain. So we'll allow only one car. So I thought I will not go. So just before leaving, 2 hours before, Bhakti Prem Maharaj called me and said, whenever Guru Maharaj would come from foreign, you would go to receive him. So if you will not go, how Guru Maharaj will feel? So you should come. So I joined. Just 2 hours before they left, I packed everything and we left. So we drove. It took us 2-3 days. We were on, just almost we were reaching Mayapur, when Maharaj received call from Mayapur management. He said, we have selected 3 devotees to do Samadhi ceremony of Guru Maharaj, but we want 1 devotee from Ujjain. So you select among yourselves who will be that devotee, so that we want 1 from Ujjain and 3 from Mayapur who will do Samadhi ceremony. But the condition is, Maharaj, you will not come because we don't want you to get COVID. And then anybody above 50 should not come. And then anybody who has diabetes should not come. And then anybody who has blood pressure should not come. So they gave so many conditions. So only person in the car was left was me. So with all these conditions. So Maharaj said, it looks you have to go. So I said, okay. So we went. When we reached there, we were told 2,000 devotees came to just dig the holy pit of Guru Maharaj Samadhi. They were lined up. Because next day, it was to be complete lock. Like nobody would be allowed there. So they took opportunity to go 1 day before, and they were digging, like one person would go take out little mud, then another person that. So they were loving Guru Maharaj so much. And then we were told that you come at 3 o'clock in the morning. So we reached 3 o'clock in the morning. And Nareshwar Prabhupada's disciple was leading the management there. He told us, you 4 guys, you are going to serve your Guru Maharaj in Samadhi. But if I see any one of you crying, I'll just throw you out. So this is the condition. This service you can't do while crying. So whatever you have to cry, you cry now. When your Guru Maharaj comes, be strong. I said, okay. And I was there, Vishnu Jan Prabhu and 2 more devotees who were there. So anyway, Guru Maharaj arrived in Calcutta, and he was supposed to come to Mayapur. But in Calcutta airport, there were so many devotees to receive Guru Maharaj that they became concerned that if Guru Maharaj comes straight from Calcutta to Mayapur, these thousands of devotees will come to have his darshan, and then we'll have the COVID protocols will be hampered. So what to do? So they decided that Guru Maharaj will stay in Habibpur for that night. And actually, Guru Maharaj, when went from Mayapur the last time, he told Habibpur devotees that next time I'll come, I'll stay in Habibpur. So Guru Maharaj even fulfilled their desires. And he stayed that night in Habibpur. So next morning, another detail. Guru Maharaj came for GBC meetings in February, and that was the last time he came to Mayapur before this. So Guru Maharaj called Baninath Prabhu from Calcutta that, look, I am coming in Mayapur, don't arrange welcome kirtan for me. Because there's so many God brothers, they don't get welcome kirtan, and for me, you 300, 400 people come, I feel embarrassed. Especially in Mayapur, where I have so many God brothers. So don't arrange welcome kirtan for me. But when we arrived, there were 400 devotees. So they received Guru Maharaj with lot of thing and respect and thing. Guru Maharaj went to his quarters and chastised Baninath. Said, I told you. Guru Maharaj said, Guru Maharaj, I didn't call anybody. They come on their own. What to do? So Guru Maharaj said, no. When I am instructing you, you have to send them back. And next time I come, there should not be any welcome kirtan. That's what happened. Guru Maharaj was secretly brought so that there should not be crowd. So at 3 o'clock, 3:30, he arrived in Mayapur. We took him around Prabhupada's Pushpa Samadhi on circumambulation, then temple circumambulation of the deities. Then he came in front of Nrsingadev, their Garuda. Jayapataka Maharaj offered him arati, offered flowers. Then the van came to the spot of Samadhi. Now we were so concerned because of our contaminated mind that it has been 9 days Guru Maharaj left his body. and we don't know in what condition we will see Guru Maharaj. So we were like, our heart was heavy. And when we were taking Guru Maharaj Vapu from the van to the spot, I mean, our hands and legs were freezing. So we took Guru Maharaj there, and we prepared a nice asan for Guru Maharaj to be there. And when we opened the bag, when we opened the box, Guru Maharaj was looking as fresh as he's taking rest. His face was bright. I took off Guru Maharaj's socks, and his feet were as soft as they always were, like butter. We can't imagine, for a normal person, after a few hours his body becomes so tough and stiff. Guru Maharaj's body was so soft. It was bright. So he applied fresh tilak, and that 11th canto was on his chest. 11th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. We took it off. We changed the upper clothes and things. Guru Maharaj was ready. So one sannyas mantra had to be written. So everything we did. And then we took Guru Maharaj in the Samadhi area. So now they made arrangements for Guru Maharaj to lie down there. Because, we were expecting that it's 9 days and it's better to Guru Maharaj to lie down there in Samadhi, facing Srila Prabhupada. But as we took Guru Maharaj down, his body was so soft that we tried to make him sit. Priti Vardhan Maharaj told that just try once, can he sit? And Guru Maharaj sat in Padmasana. It was astonishing, we all were shocked. How is this possible? So we make him sit and Guru Maharaj sat in Padmasana. So we rearranged. There were 2 pillows like this and 1 pillow at the back. As if Guru Maharaj is giving a Bhagavatam class, he was sitting there with his hands like this. And there were so many Maha dresses from Vrindavan, from Mayapur, different holy places, Jagannath's cloth, the jewelry, Radharani's sari, so many things. And we were decorating Guru Maharaj. And at one point he was looking like a sweet gopi, with all these different ornaments and deity dresses and everything. And then we covered Guru Maharaj with another saffron cloth, just to maintain that sannyas etiquette. So below that's all deities things, and different dust from different holy places, and water from holy places, and tulsi and flowers and garlands, so many things around Guru Maharaj. And then we put a nice saffron cloth on Guru Maharaj, and then devotees asked that now you all come out, because we were in the PP kit and they didn't want to show that in the live broadcast. So he said, we all come back. So he said, only one person will be staying inside and 3 of you come out. So I was the junior most, so I came out, and the other 2 devotees also came back. 1 devotee was inside. And Nareshwar Prabhu said, only one will stand there, so that camera will take position in such a way that that person will not come in frame, and then other things can be shown. So okay, that devotee was there. And then devotees started putting salt. And as they were putting salt, there was some salt on Guru Maharaj's head. And then Guru Maharaj's face was little down. Now Bhakti Prem Maharaj was telling this devotee that, put Guru Maharaj's face up. But somehow he could not listen it. And I was feeling little heavy, because I got chastised from Guru Maharaj many times that why I have to search for you all the time. He chastised me. Like in Mayapur, he would come from Namatta to his building, and I would just walk by, and Guru Maharaj would come in car. And after reaching there, Guru Maharaj chastised, why I have to search for you all the time? You should be near me. So then I thought, let Nareshwar Prabhu shout or do whatever. I jumped in. And then that devotee, Nareshwar Prabhu said, why 2 people there? I told you not to go there, and I didn't listen him. So this another devotee went out. And then I raised Guru Maharaj's face little bit, so that he should sit facing Srila Prabhupada. So I raised his face, and I saw a smile on Guru Maharaj's face. So that was the last thing, and then they put salt and everything, and then they closed the Samadhi, and that's how the Samadhi ceremony was over. So Guru Maharaj got the best spot just in front of Srila Prabhupada in Mayapur Dham, where he joined the headquarters of ISKCON, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthplace. He's eternally living there, and he's serving Srila Prabhupada in his Nitya Leela. Jai Shri Srimad Bhakti Charu Swami Guru Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki. Now I want to share one small thing with all devotees. I know it is very late, but just small thing. In 2017, Guru Maharaj was asked to write a note to his disciples. It was an exercise in SGGS, Sadhu Guru GBC Sangha. And they made all sannyasis to write that what they will instruct their disciples while leaving their body. So that was an exercise. So I'll just read that. So Guru Maharaj was asked that write a note to your disciple, not note, what words you will speak to your disciples while leaving your body. So this is Guru Maharaj's original handwriting where he wrote that. So I am reading from there. Dear devotees, all these years I tried to take care of you and engage you in Srila Prabhupada's mission. While doing that, we developed a deep bond among ourselves. We shared many happy moments together and also many difficulties. However, happiness or pain, all have been extremely wonderful because all were for the sake of Krishna. Now the time has come for me to leave. Now you have to take up the responsibility to carry on this noble mission on your own. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement must continue to spread and inundate the entire world. You are very fortunate that you have become connected to ISKCON. Always remain in the shelter of this institution and never ever leave this wonderful shelter. Try to push Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement collectively with a strong spirit of cooperation. Always remember that what you have belongs to Srila Prabhupada and you yourself belong to His divine grace. The success of your existence lies in how you serve Him. This was the note Guru Maharaj wrote in that diary. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samved Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much, Krishna Kishore Prabhu. I think we've benefited so much, and I just wanted maybe Jagannatha Pandit Prabhu to, on behalf of the disciples, express some words of appreciation. Thank you.
I'm not a guest, so.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I was remembering one incident occurred on the 5th of January. And at that time, we were returning from the crematorium where Guru Maharaj had said his last farewell to His Grace Shyamlal Prabhu. And as we got into the car, Guru Maharaj's words were, Shyamlal Prabhu's body was so soft. Because I had noticed that what Guru Maharaj had done at that point was, whilst he was in the coffin, his hands were on his side. So Guru Maharaj with his own hand picked his hand up over the bead bag and placed it across his chest on the heart. So that's, and then Guru Maharaj was commenting, on his own he was speaking about this. He says, Shyamlal Prabhu's body was so soft. It was just like Srila Prabhupada's body. His Guru Maharaj had done the last rites and put, he was there when Srila Prabhupada went into Samadhi. So, you see, in the body of a pure devotee, there's no rigor mortis. And we heard now how, I actually asked, Krishna Kishore Prabhu, how's Guru Maharaj's body? Because I know he was touching, because I was remembering this incident that Guru Maharaj had told me. And this was 9 days later. I was thinking, 9 days, what it is. And Krishna Kishore Prabhu told me, he said, Guru Maharaj's body is soft like a baby, like how it always was. So again, this is another confirmation from Guru Maharaj's own words, using Guru Maharaj's own, Mahaprasad, confirming that he is, a pure devotee of the Lord. So, the way one develops faith in Krishna is that we have to hear about Krishna. The entire Bhagavatam is speaking about Krishna. And so is the CC. But we also have to hear directly from Krishna himself. And that's Bhagavad Gita. So it's not just hearing about the person, but you could hear from the person too. And for every devotee, our faith depends on our spiritual life depends on our faith in our spiritual master. That's the cornerstone of our spiritual life. So, hearing from our spiritual master is so important. But hearing about our spiritual master is even more important. So therefore we are eternally grateful to Krishna Kishore Prabhu for sharing this very unique katha, information that's not really available anywhere except from those who are directly and personally in such circumstances. And not only that we're present there, but also we're hearing it through the bhakti and realizations of advanced devotees. And that's where the real rus comes about. So, Krishna Kishore Prabhu, from all of us, we say very big thank you to you. Thank you for sharing this series of classes on Guru Maharaj. It's just been pure nectar. I don't think any of us would have expected what we received over the last few days. And for all of us, it's just such a nourishment at a time when we're still processing Guru Maharaj's departure. It may never be, I don't think anyone can fully comprehend unless you yourself go through it. Guru Maharaj himself mentioned that when Srila Prabhupada left, like, as you know, he had no other service because his service was only connected to Srila Prabhupada. All he wanted to do, he said, he wanted to take his danda and walk. And I asked him, where would you go? Walk where? Just walk? He said, walk into the forest. And then, go to village. He said, people in India are very different to those in the West. That's what he said. And they would, when they see a sannyasi, they see a sadhu, they'll take care of the sadhu. They'll give you something to eat. Or they'll come and listen to the sadhu. So I'll go every morning, sleep overnight under a tree, and then the next day we'll go to another village. So that was Guru Maharaj's thoughts when Srila Prabhupada left. So, we're so, to hear this katha is just, it's just pure nectar. I have no words to describe it. It's just, it's welcome. It's important that we hear it, and we hear it over and over and over again. And I'm glad it's recorded and it's going to be published. And over the next many, many years, as you heard, Guru Maharaj's instruction to Krishna Kishore Prabhu is what? What was the instruction? No. The direct instruction was never leave the service. So Prabhuji, you have to continue the service in Guru Maharaj and continue gracing us with your presence, and we would like to hear from your lotus mouth again and again. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. All glory is to His grace, Krishna Kishore Prabhu. All glory is to Srila Prabhupada. Go, Ki Jai.